I knew something was wrong the second I heard the silence. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that presses on your chest, that makes the air in the room feel like it's watching you. I was standing barefoot in the kitchen, trying to clean up the wine I'd just spilled all over the counter, my phone still buzzing with messages I hadn't opened yet. The glass had slipped when he walked in, early, without warning. He didn't speak. Just stood in the doorway like a shadow, watching me with eyes I couldn't read anymore. I said his name, but it came out too soft. Like I already knew I didn't deserve an answer. And then he spoke, just 2 words. 2 words that changed everything. I know. I felt my knees buckle. He knew. But what exactly had he heard? What was about to fall apart? Before I tell you what happened next, make sure you're alone for this one. Because once it starts, it doesn't stop. You ever talk yourself into a love story? Like, look at a man and think, if I just keep smiling, maybe I'll believe it too. That was me with Adam. Adam, the man with the reliable car, the great credit score, and absolutely no idea who I really was inside. We met at a fundraiser for my company. He liked my laugh. I liked how safe he seemed. Not exciting, not unpredictable, just solid. And after my last breakup, solid felt like salvation. I kept telling myself, he's the kind of man who shows up. That's what matters. But every time he showed up, a little part of me disappeared. It started small. I stopped talking about the poetry I used to write. Stopped dreaming out loud. Stopped wearing red lipstick because Adam said he liked the natural look. And I wanted him to like me. Isn't that pathetic? I even convinced myself I was lucky. My best friend Jules, of course, saw right through it. She always does. She said one night, when we were wine deep and honesty drunk, "Does he make you laugh? Like, really laugh? Or are you just grateful he's not hurting you like the last guy?" I remember staring into my glass and not answering. Because I couldn't. I wish I could say things changed. That I found my voice. That I walked away before it got worse. But no. I married him. 3 months later, I was sitting in our living room with a smile so practiced it felt like a mask fused to my face. We had a beautiful home. A dog. Matching mugs. And still, every morning I woke up next to him, I felt like I was fading. I wasn't unhappy because Adam was cruel. He wasn't. He made breakfast. He left me little notes in the fridge. He called my mom every Sunday, sometimes even before I remembered to. But the truth? He didn't see me. And worse, I never let him. I was too afraid of what might happen if I was honest. That he'd be disappointed. That I'd ruin everything. That maybe I was the problem. Then Julian transferred to my department. God, Julian. He walked in like a sunrise and left the room buzzing with leftover light. Funny. Smart. A little arrogant. But he asked me questions like he actually wanted to know the answers. One day he caught me scribbling something on a napkin during lunch and asked to read it. It was a poem. Just 3 lines long. He read it silently, then said, "Why'd you stop writing?" This is honest. It hurts in a good way. I told him I didn't know. But I did. I stopped writing when I stopped feeling. After that, I started inventing reasons to talk to him. Asking for help I didn't need. Offering coffee. Saying things I'd never say to Adam, like I miss who I used to be. I never cheated. Not technically. But I thought about it. And in some ways, I think Adam would have preferred a physical betrayal over the emotional slow bleed I was inflicting on him. Because the truth was, I loved a version of him I'd made up, not the man brushing his teeth beside me every night. I could feel it all unraveling. And still, I didn't stop. Not when I vented to Jules about the ache I couldn't explain. Not when I said, on speakerphone, stupidly, carelessly, I settled. I don't love him like that. I thought I would, but I don't. And definitely not when Adam came home early. I didn't hear him walk in. I didn't see his face until I turned around, and there he was, standing by the staircase, holding his briefcase like he needed something to hold on to. I don't remember what I said first. Probably something dumb like, "You're home early." But his eyes didn't move. He just said, "I know." I tried to smile. "Know what? You don't love me." That's when my heart dropped to the floor and shattered. I don't know how long we stood there. It felt like an hour. Maybe more. He set his bag down. Sat on the couch. Quiet. I sat too, legs trembling. "Adam, wait. I didn't mean it like that. I was venting. You know how Jules and I talk. It's exaggerated. It's..." He cut me off. "Stop. Just stop trying to save it with lies." His voice was low. Still calm. That made it worse. I could feel something shifting in him. Like a string had finally snapped. "You didn't even notice the anniversary gift I left on your pillow yesterday," he said. "You've been gone for months, Harper." Emotionally. I just didn't want to admit it. "I'm still here," I whispered, but it felt like a joke. "You're physically here," he said. "But the version of you I fell in love with, she left a long time ago." That night, he didn't sleep in our bed. The next morning, he made coffee. But not for me. I watched him pack a suitcase, move with quiet precision, like this wasn't a breakdown but a decision he'd finally made. And I did nothing to stop him. I just watched, like I was standing outside my own life. I kept thinking, he's bluffing. He'll calm down. But deep down, I knew better. Because sometimes, when you finally say the truth out loud, even accidentally, there's no way to take it back. Only forward. Only consequences. Only the sound of a man walking away, and never looking back. The worst part about someone walking away isn't the sound of the door closing. It's the echo that stays behind. Adam didn't slam it. He didn't yell. He didn't even leave dramatically. He just packed a bag with the kind of stillness that made my chest burn. Calm men are the most terrifying when they finally decide they're done. For the first 2 days, I kept expecting a text. Something short. Angry. Or sad. Anything that proved he was still emotionally tangled with me. But silence? Silence is final. I didn't sleep. Not really. I laid in our bed, well, my bed now, and stared at the ceiling. Our dog, Luca, curled at the foot like nothing had changed. Like she didn't know Adam wasn't coming back. I kept listening for his keys in the door even though I knew better. By the 3rd day, I messaged Jules. "He left," I wrote. She replied instantly. "What do you mean left?" "He knows. The call. Everything." The typing dots blinked for a long time before her reply came in. Shit. I stared at the screen for a long time. That was it. Just shit. Not, "Are you okay?" Not come over. Just one word. One syllable. Like she couldn't pretend to be shocked. Maybe because she wasn't. I went into work on Thursday pretending I still had a husband. It was easier than facing the questions. No one at the office knew yet, and I wanted to keep it that way. But Julian could tell. Of course he could. Rough morning, he asked, gently. I tried to smile. Just tired. He nodded but didn't push. He never does. That made it worse. I wanted someone to demand the truth from me. To make me spill everything. To tell me I wasn't a monster for ruining something good. But everyone just stayed in their lanes, and I kept spiraling in silence. Friday night, Jules finally invited me over. She handed me wine like it was medicine and sat beside me on her couch like I was a glass figurine that might shatter. You gonna tell me everything or should I guess? She asked. I told her. The whole thing. What Adam heard. How he looked at me like I was a stranger. How I begged without meaning to, and he still walked out. How his toothbrush was still in the holder, but he was gone. Jules didn't interrupt. And when I finally stopped talking, she didn't give me sympathy. She gave me something worse. Honesty. Harper. I know you didn't mean to hurt him. But you did. And maybe he's not coming back. I blinked, stunned. That's it? No pep talk? She shook her head. I'm your best friend, not your lawyer. I wanted to scream. But the thing is, she wasn't wrong. I was the villain here. Not intentionally. But damage doesn't care about intentions. A week passed. No word from Adam. Then, Sunday morning, something changed. I woke up to over 20 notifications on my phone. Mentions. DMs. A tagged post. The first message said, "Girl, is this about you?" Attached was a Reddit screenshot. I clicked it open, and there it was. A post in/true off my chest. My wife told her friend she settled for me. That I was her last resort. I wasn't supposed to hear it, but I did. Every detail was there. Not my name, but enough to connect the dots. The timing, the phrasing, even a line I'd said word for word. He's stable and kind, but he doesn't see me. My heart started racing. I scrolled through the comments, faster and faster, hands shaking. Thousands of upvotes. Hundreds of replies. Dude deserves better. She sounds like a manipulator. This is why men don't open up anymore. I felt like I was drowning in strangers' opinions. Like my shame had grown legs and walked out into the world without me. He'd posted it. Adam. No name. No photos. But he knew what he was doing. The internet was on his side. I slammed my phone down and covered my face with both hands. How was I supposed to come back from this? Monday at work, I could feel the whispers. Someone had found it. Passed it around. Probably connected the dots just enough. Julian avoided eye contact. That stung. He used to linger by my desk, joke about coffee, ask how my dog was doing. Now he barely said good morning. At lunch, I sat in my car, scrolling through Instagram. Trying to pretend the world hadn't shifted under my feet. And then I saw it. Adam's profile. He hadn't blocked me. Big mistake. There he was, in a photo taken the day before. Standing at the top of a hiking trail, wind in his hair, grinning like someone who had just taken a weight off his chest. I zoomed in, needing to see if he looked sad or angry. He didn't. He looked lighter. That's when it hit me. He really wasn't coming back. I went home and poured myself a glass of wine. 2. 3. Then I messaged him. Just one line. Are you happy now? No response. The next morning, though, he replied. Not with anger. Not even cruelty. Just this. I didn't throw anything away. I just stopped pretending I was happy. I hope someday you do too. It broke me in a way I can't explain. Because he was right. I was pretending. From the moment we met. Pretending I was fulfilled. Pretending I didn't want more. Pretending I was someone else entirely. I looked around the apartment. His empty chair at the table. The dog dish he used to fill. The half-finished puzzle we started but never completed. It all felt like a museum exhibit of a life I curated, but never truly lived. I thought about Julian. And how I'd used his attention as a distraction. As proof that I was still desirable. Still seen. But that wasn't love either. That was ego. And now? Now all I had left was silence. The kind that wraps around you when even your lies stop working. I didn't hit rock bottom all at once. I thought that's how it worked, some big, dramatic collapse. But no. It's slower. Like erosion. Quiet. Just the slow, steady vanishing of everything you used to count on. First it was Adam, gone from my daily life like someone yanked the thread holding the world together. Then it was Jules. She stopped calling. Said she needed space. Said she still loved me, but couldn't watch me keep burning everything down. Next came work. I was distracted, numb, paranoid. I kept wondering who knew, who had read the post. When layoffs hit, I was first to go. They used the word performance, but I knew it was about the Whisper network, the way everyone had started side-eyeing me like I was a walking red flag. With no income and no savings, because Adam had handled all of that, I had to move out of our place. The lease was in his name, and I didn't have the energy to argue. I crashed on my sister's couch for a while. Then my parents, which felt like an emotional regression I wasn't ready for. I was 33, unemployed, divorced, and rapidly running out of people who still saw me as anything but a cautionary tale. The hardest part? Adam never once reached out. No, how are you? No, I miss you. Nothing. He'd meant it when he said he was done pretending. And now, so did I. I stopped trying to reframe it. To soften it. To convince myself that I was the victim of bad timing or mismatched expectations. No. I was the one who lied first. Not to Adam. To myself. I told myself I could make stability feel like passion. That comfort could substitute for connection. That being adored was the same as being known. It wasn't. And the truth is, I didn't deserve the version of Adam who tried. Who stayed. Who remembered birthdays and asked follow-up questions and called my mom just to check in. I only ever saw what he lacked. Not what he gave. And by the time I realized what that meant, it was too late. People think grief is about death. But heartbreak is its own kind of funeral. You bury the version of yourself that could have been different if you'd just been a little braver. A little kinder. A little more honest. There was one last blow waiting. It came on a Saturday. I was scrolling through Instagram like a masochist, still following people I should have unfollowed months ago. And there it was. A photo. Adam. With her. He was holding hands with a woman I didn't recognize. Pretty, but not flashy. The kind of smile that wasn't filtered or practiced. The caption was just, grateful. It didn't say her name. But I clicked. Her profile was public. A kindergarten teacher. Volunteers at an animal shelter. Posts photos of books and dogs and dinners that clearly weren't plated for likes. She looked real. Warm. Effortless in the way I never managed to be. They looked happy. He looked free. I stared at the screen, waiting for that old anger to rise up, the bitterness, the resentment, the panic. But it didn't come. Only something quieter. Regret. Not because I'd lost him, but because I'd never let myself really have him in the first place. I closed the app. Deleted it, actually. Then I sat in my tiny apartment, the one I barely afforded with my new job, nothing glamorous, just something to keep the lights on, and I let myself cry for the first time in months. Not dramatic, collapsed on the floor crying. Just quiet, gutted crying. The kind that comes from finally understanding what you broke. It's strange how much clearer things look when you have nothing left to hide behind. That night, I wrote a letter I'll never send. To Adam. I told him everything. That I'd been wrong. That I knew it now. That he wasn't the problem. I was. That I hope she loves him the way I never could. That he deserves it. I folded it up. Put it in a drawer. Not for him. For me. Proof that I could finally tell the truth. Months passed. No miracles happened. No redemption arcs. No second chances. But something did shift. I stopped needing to be understood. Or forgiven. Or defended. I started telling the truth to myself. I settled because I was scared. I lied because I wanted to feel powerful. I lost him because I couldn't love what I didn't understand. That's my truth. And as ugly as it is, it's mine. Some nights, I still wonder what would have happened if I'd never made that call on speakerphone. If Adam hadn't heard. If he'd stayed. But I think the real tragedy would have been if he had stayed. Because maybe then, we'd still be together. Lonely. Silent. Pretending. Now he's free. And for the first time, maybe I am too. Not happy. Not healed. But honest. And that's more than I've ever been before.